Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, as we gear up for local government elections, the Integrity Commission has released a damning report into alleged councillor misconduct. Our local government election framework is now set for a shake-up, with a former councillor's conflict of interest key to the Commission's investigation.
The Integrity Commission report discovered former Derwent Valley councillor Paul Belcher had a conflict of interest with prominent local property developer Rustam Sajri.
He was evading the requirement to declare and manage those conflicts of interest. It may have started as a lack of awareness, but it certainly ended with evasion.
It's alleged Mr Belcher agitated for the business interests of Mr Sajri, who he accepted a $5,000 gift from and also worked for whilst a councillor.
I'd say that community confidence in government, in local government, goes to the heart of democracy, so it's incredibly serious.
Mr Belcher resigned from the council and has since pleaded guilty to violating the Local Government Act after forwarding confidential documents to a journalist. He's barred from nominating for council for 5 years. He says he cooperated with the investigation and has done nothing wrong. The report recommends a more flexible approach for managing conflicts of interest at the council level, extending campaign funding disclosure requirements to all candidates instead of just sitting ones, and mandating a disclosure register for councillors.
The government will certainly be reading through the Integrity Commission's recommendations and looking for opportunities for further framework for transparency.
The Greens say misconduct in public office should be made a crime to prevent similar situations in the future.
It's very clear there's a loophole. It's very clear the only solution is a legislative fix.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Fresh questions have been raised over funding negotiations for Marinus Link. The Energy Minister Guy Barnett, when pressed, not denying he'd recently turned down an offer from the federal government to pay for at least half of the $3.5 billion cable.
We will remain resolute to ensure that we get the best deal possible for Tasmania.
We're really keen and enthusiastic to find out what it is the government's been doing for the past 6.5 years.
Final investment decision is still not expected until 2024. The new Homes Tasmania organisation will soon be operational after a bill establishing it passed Parliament. It was accepted by the lower house after the Legislative Council made minor amendments. Stakeholders say an independent body will help aid the housing crisis.
It's about people with the skills in the industry who know how to deal with these complex issues so that we can remove the barriers.
The state government has set the goal of building 10,000 social houses in 10 years. A large-scale manhunt for Robert Gregg has entered its third day. The Brighton man is wanted by Tasmania Police following an incident on Monday night in which 2 police cars were shot at, narrowly avoiding the officers inside. A task force is operational as the investigation continues. The Holden Colorado, who's believed to be driving, now potentially undergone modifications.
We suspect it could have been changed. Maybe some of the vehicle or part of the vehicle has been changed from that bluey colour to possibly a grey colour, but until we have someone sight the vehicle, we can't confirm that.
Meanwhile, another offender remains on the run following a separate incident. Brodie Savage escaped from the Hobart Magistrates Court yesterday afternoon after being sentenced to time behind bars. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is urged to come forward. In light of the Optus scandal, Tasmanians are learning a timely lesson about online security at TasICT's Cybercon event. Attendees engaging in a range of presentations, from the risks associated with working from home to incident response and cyber insurance.
If you've got a database or they perceive you've got a large bank account, they'll come after you. So it only takes a weakness, somebody in your staff who's not properly trained.
Organisers predicting the conference will become an annual event after today's success. Petrol prices remain steady across the state tonight despite the fuel excise cut coming to an end. The cost of unleaded in Hobart hovered around $1.73 today, while in Launceston it was slightly higher at $1.77. The advice to drivers is to fill up now before the full effects of the excise kick in over the next few days. The ACCC has also warned stations against price gouging. Tasmanians will soon be able to fly direct to more capital cities, with Virgin resuming 2 popular routes out of Launceston Airport. In a welcome boost to tourism in the region, the return of the successful flight paths is being welcomed.
A business boost for Tassie's tourism industry.
We're announcing today the resumption of Virgin Australia flights to Perth and Adelaide.
Perth flights will resume next month, while tri-weekly flights to Adelaide will commence from December 15.
We're absolutely delighted to have those flights back again. They were very successful when they were operating earlier in the year.
Those flights were temporarily suspended mid-year due to operational issues with the airlines, but now ready to return.
We're expecting around 60,000 passengers over the next couple of weeks.
It's a move welcomed by travellers and businesses alike.
I think it's good for local tourism. I think people get a chance to go to places where they've not been because of COVID and all of that. It also boosts our economy here down in Tasmania, so I think it's a win-win.
Our new tourism sector will groom at once, and yeah, I'm pretty much excited.
And with summer just around the corner, Tasmania's recovering tourism industry is set to boom.
An average tourist these days coming to the state spends around $4,000 per person. So that's a huge injection to the economy over a 12-month period. The tourism industry needs that badly.
Any avenue for new tourism is good news. And because we're now a UNESCO Creative City of Gastronomy, we are expecting to see people travel here purely to enjoy our fine dining establishments.
Expecting to exceed pre-COVID numbers, with demand for travel taking off. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
Environmental groups have blasted a coal to hydrogen project slated for the state. In the proposal, coal mined from the Fingal Valley would be used to create hydrogen at a Bell Bay plant. The proponents claim it will produce 0 emissions.
This is a massive attempt at greenwashing. The potential here is that it undermines Tasmania's green hydrogen future.
There's no acceptable scenario for more or new fossil fuels. Full stop.
The project owner, Dave Hodgson, was previously a member of the Rhodesian Special Forces and says he believes this project is God's intention. Tasmania's small business and arts communities have banded together to throw their support behind the Macquarie Point Stadium proposal. They're backing in the multi-use facility suggestion, now pleading with the wider community to embrace the concept.
It'll reinvigorate this area. It'll provide an opportunity for people to come to Hobart. It's on a waste ground at the moment. It has easy access to Hobart hotels.
You'll also get concerts, you'll get acts, you'll get big shows that tour in arenas that we normally have to jump on a plane and pay accommodation for somewhere else for.
The multi-million-dollar design continues to face opposition from political parties as Tasmanians await confirmation on whether the state will secure the 19th AFL licence. 10 females have graduated from the Women in Civil Pre-Employment pilot program. At just 4.2%, the rate of female participation in hands-on construction roles is considered too low. The Civil Contractors Federation aiming to attract and retain more women in male-dominated high-vis roles.
Every male I've worked with has been so accepting of me and teaching me everything, even when they don't have to teach me. They're telling me why we're doing it and how we're doing it.
The graduates are a valuable asset to Tasmania, with more than $400 million of civil infrastructure works lined up for the southeast. A first constable who lost his courageous battle with cancer on Sunday has been remembered for his passionate commitment to service. Samuel Allen, one of many officers honoured during a National Police Remembrance Day ceremony.
Fallen colleagues etched into the memory of those who continue to serve.
We hold you close within our hearts, and there you will remain.
Pausing to remember those killed in the line of duty. The names of 10 officers who historically died on the job were added to the memorial baton, all commemorated on an annual day of significance. Also paying respects to employees who lost their lives through other circumstances. Among them, a brave and well-loved character.
Oh, it's such a shame for us to part.
First Class Constable Samuel Allen.
Sam was a person with great dignity and professionalism. Sam fought against his illness with unwavering bravery and refused to be defined by his circumstances.
The loss leaving a lasting impact on the policing fraternity.
It's been really difficult, being so close to Remembrance Day. Today gave us an opportunity for us to acknowledge and remember Sam very fondly.
Sadly, there's no guarantee every police officer who clocks on for their shift will come home with these heroes willing to take that risk every time to protect our community.
We do things that other members of the community would never have to experience and never be subjected to. We always go out there with the very best intentions to do our job to the best that we possibly can.
An important ceremony to remind them of the responsibility that comes with pulling on the uniform.
And in many cases made the ultimate sacrifice in keeping others safe.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
School students have welcomed some of cricket's elite to their playground. Commonwealth Games gold medalist Nicola Carey and her Tasmanian Tigers teammate Elise Villani attended a clinic at Riverside Primary this morning, encouraging the next generation of cricketers.
They were teaching us different games we could play and answered a lot of questions about cricket.
We know that there's a huge benefit both to physical, mental and emotional health, so making sure as role models we're getting out there encouraging young boys and girls to take up not just cricket but any sport.
The pair is travelling around the north as part of Cricket Australia's Play Cricket Month, encouraging students to participate in sport. Your small change could be making a huge difference to the lives of young and vulnerable Tasmanians. A new Pay It Forward concept ensuring everyone gets a chance to enjoy a day at Zoodoo Zoo.
They're cute, they're friendly and they're interacting with children who are sick, disadvantaged or living with disability.
These experiences are so important from their childhood, growing up and taking forward with them. So it's really important that everyone gets that opportunity.
Variety Tasmania teaming up with Zoodoo to help kids be kids. It's part of their Pay It Forward partnership, seeing selfless strangers donating a little extra upon zoo admission.
It's not just limited to zoo entry, it could include programs such as our birthday parties and Keep for a Day. And they're programs that are often out of these kids' reach.
100% of the funds raised through this initiative will be used by Variety to sponsor children to come to Zoodoo.
The initiative has already been a roaring success. Zoodoo recently hosting a family with non-verbal children whose parents were blown away by the results.
The child was engaging with the wallabies, feeding the animals, and to the point where he pointed to his storyboard to say, I like this.
They'll also be hosting an annual free day for Variety families, giving more children the chance to interact with animals like these common marmosets. The organisation's hoping to hit a $30,000 target in the first year. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
Man's best friend is on the job in the state's northwest as Ambulance Tasmania expands a support program for its workers. Louis and Nova are spreading joy to Burnie paramedics who might be having a busy or stressful day.
Meet some of Ambulance Tasmania's newest recruits. These precious poochers are anything but your average hound dog.
Louis is probably the biggest possession I have that saved my life.
Dog handler Grant Park sharing his skills and his retrievers with Burnie paramedic staff.
I was trained for 2 years, and then to make sure that I was suitable to have an assistance dog in the first place, and then got Louis, and Louis quite adapted for everything from about 8 weeks old.
Louis and his daughter Nova are highly trained therapy dogs, prepared to go the extra mile to make stress melt away.
It's a really positive experience for all of us, and lots of joy and humour and conversations that come about spending time with these dogs.
Their twice-weekly visits a treat for everyone involved, giving staff a chance to unwind on stressful or busy days. The initiative an expansion of the same successful program in the state's south. Louis and Nova come with excellent referees. They've previously worked with the police.
You just have to follow the dogs around to see the positivity and the vibe that's created when they walk into the buildings.
Helping our paramedics back on the road in a better frame of mind. Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
Some of the state's top young rock talent are taking to the stage tonight in Burnie. Hobart-based Jaguar will headline with support from 6 local high schools.
So a really cool opportunity for young up-and-coming musos to have a crack and play in front of an audience. It's really important that young people feel engaged in their community and they feel their community has things to offer for them.
The free concert, a way for the region's youth to welcome the start of the Burnie Show long weekend. Organisers are hoping to use the concert as a springboard to an even bigger event later this year.
Overnight, the Tigers had a successful start to the season following a convincing win in the Marsh One Day Cup. South Australia were all out for 220 in the 44th over. Alex Carey top scoring with 59 runs off 45 balls, while the Tigers stormed home with an 8-wicket win in the 33rd over. Caleb Jewell with an unbeaten century, helping secure the Tigers' bonus point victory.
That'll do it for Caleb Jewell. Brings up the ton in style. Fittingly as well. Second fastest 100 for a Tasmanian.
Ben McDermott and Jordan Silk were the only wickets to fall for Tasmania. The Tigers will now go on to play the Queensland Bulls in Brisbane tomorrow. It was a grand final showdown at Elfin Sports Centre last night, with the Southside Rebels taking on the City Rockets in the Launceston basketball competition. The Rebels led by 9 points after the first quarter, but couldn't maintain their break. The Rockets blasting back into the game with Southside hot on their tails. But in the end, it was the Rebels taking home the trophy with the final score 93-81. Tasmania's best in hockey are gearing up to make a strong start on the field with the return of the Hockey One League. The season has opened the door for a new leadership group in both the men's and women's side, which will see superstar Eddie Ockenden step aside for a coaching role.
I think we do have the team to put some results together. You just sort of have to start stacking them up and have enough to make finals and then put your best foot forward.
Yeah, really excited to lead the team, and yeah, it's a really talented group, and I think we can go pretty far in the tournament, so really looking forward to getting stuck in on Friday night.
Josh Belts and Madeline Murphy will lead the teams, both eager to bring home success for the state as they take on Brisbane at home first up.
Good evening. Not much of a day in Hobart today. The wet weather and a very cool day, just 12 degrees. Launceston 16, Burnie and Devonport 17. Smithton our top today, 18 degrees. Strawn, Lowhead and the Islands all 17. Then a big drop to 13 recorded by Bushy Park, and just 12 today at St Helens and Friendly Beaches. -2 was our low at Butler's Gorge. The southwesterlies kept things cold as showers fell mainly over the south and east. Grey, 18 millimetres, the highest fall to 3 p.m. Cold unstable air has moved over our region following the front. Low convective cloud further north over Victoria and eastern Queensland. Extensive cloud with thunderstorms over WA. Tomorrow the high to our southeast pushes a ridge back over the Bight. Low pressure troughs over the northwest of the nation. The winds tending east-northeasterly tomorrow at 10 to 20 knots and up to 25 knots over northern waters. Just a minor flood warning that's been issued for the St Paul's River. Forecast for Friday, 14 and cloudy in Hobart, partly cloudy for Huonville, 15 the top there and 14 for Campania. Launceston shooting for 16 degrees and partly cloudy, Devonport 15 and 16 the high for Georgetown. Conditions for Burnie, fine and mostly sunny, 13 the top, 15 for Strawn, partly cloudy for Wynyard, 6 overnight, 15 the top tomorrow. 13 for St Helens with a shower or two, a cloudy 13 for Swansea, Port Arthur 15 degrees. On Saturday, fine and partly cloudy after morning frost. Fine again on Sunday apart from a late shower over the far south. And on Monday, a shower likely over the west and south as the winds shift west-southwesterly. Sunny and 29 in Perth tomorrow. Partly cloudy weather for Adelaide and Melbourne. Showers forecast for Canberra and Sydney. And a sunny 26 for Brisbane. A little bit cloudy and cool in Hobart. It's 9 right now. Cloudy in Launceston, 10 currently and 10 at the moment in Devonport as well. Been a short week for me, Kim, but I do look forward to seeing you tomorrow night for Friday night happy hour.
I think you've started tonight. Thank you, Murph.